Sokies, what's up? Thank you for being here. I'm just getting squared away on YouTube here, trying to make sure everything's going to work. We're going to be live on YouTube. Just a second. And we are. See how this bit rate holds up. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here, and thank you for sticking it out with me through my internet connection issues. Now that we're ready, we're going to go ahead and start moving on. Preheat this fork, get the canes ready to bring over here. Hey, thank you, Andrew. Hey, can everybody hear me fine? Background sounding okay? Yeah, I have my canes heated up right around 1,050 degrees. Gonna let that soak in the heat for a while. Let's close up the doors here. Yeah, these canes are great. I've been kind of holding on to these for a while. This is the last of the nice roll-ups that I have. The next roll-up or two I have is going to be basically made of scraps. But I've made 1, 5, 6. This will be number 7 from those twisty canes that I've made. Fill out the series from these. These canes look nice. These blues really stand out well against the mint green, which you can't really tell is mint green right now, but about half of them are mint green, half of them are blue. I'm just going to continually heat up these canes so that they can fuse together, stick together. Then I'll remove these little barricades on the side. So about 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit, 1,050 degrees Fahrenheit. They do not stick together. They get at that temperature, 1,050 in the oven. They only are preheated to the point where they're not going to get shocked when I pick them up and put them in this oven. This oven allows me to superheat them evenly and make sure they're not going to stick down to the plate at the same time while I'm rotating and all that. So each time they're going to be glowing a little bit more. It'll be easier to stick together. They don't need to be forced together terribly hard. It's just a light touch. They'll stick even better than they are now. But they're fusing together a little bit more and more each time. There are some situations in which you would bring it up to more than a fuse temperature in the oven before even picking it up. But it can get kind of tricky when you're bringing it up to a roll-up temperature and making sure that somehow it just evenly heats in the oven, doesn't stick to the plate, doesn't end up being too hot. this back and forth that I'm doing right now gives me an ability to kind of figure out how the glass is going to act according to the heat as I go, instead of just relying on a good program and even slumping. See, that's all it takes, just a little touch. And now I know that they've been stuck together, so I'm going to go ahead and move these pieces of ceramic out of here. We'll use them again. Okay. Let's check it. Looks like it's fused together and it's not stuck to the plate. That is a good thing. We're going to heat a little bit more. Make sure everything is properly stuck together now that the barricades aren't on there. And then we'll be ready to go pick up that collar. Actually, you know what? I could do that now if I wanted to. Andrew on YouTube, thanks for being here. Hello, hello. Please let me know how everything looks. If there's any issues that you notice. Okay. So, one last rotate, and I'm just going to rotate the glass this time. Kind of feeling out the way it acts. You can see how soft it is, how well it's fused together. Blow a little bit underneath. Just cool that surface. Make sure there's no loose dust down there. We're going to leave it here until I go get my collar ready. Collar's over here in the pipe warmer. Just going to put it right back into the furnace. And letting it sit in there is going to allow it to heat up slowly. I'll come over and rotate it every now and then. But really, I'm going to continue to build heat into my canes while my collar builds up more heat. The gatherer glass that's on the end of my blowpipe is a collar. Yeah, it's a collar because it's not a bubble. I can blow through it. Blew through it, peeled all the clear glass around to the edge. So it's a collar that is going to be used hopefully to the right diameter to be able to roll up these canes. Every now and then you'll see me come over here and rotate my collar in the heat, make sure it doesn't bend the pipe by just sitting there too long and maybe slumping downward. Now we can see my canes have heated up to a much better point. So they're soft, my collar is hot. I can come over here and just do a light touch, quick little roll. See, I'll be able to stitch it together and seal it up later, but for now, when I get it into the heat, start slowly building up the heat as I close the door. Now we're going to go for cleaning up the shop a little bit. Let's get this thing out of the way. Okay. See, now if I put it back in the furnace, you'll see it's an open sheet. It just needs to be heated a little bit, laid together. Those pieces are going to be stitched together with the heat. Just touching them in place in just the right way will help line them up. Then I'll have a cylinder. That cylinder can easily be sealed off at the end once it's reheated. Then I have my bubble to blow out. You see, as this heats, it wants to flare out. So real quickly, we come over here to the bench and start lining it up. This cane's coming that way, this cane goes that way. Just touching them together helps them stick. And you line them up. Now, once I push this back down on center, I'll have a nice even cylinder. See? And heat it and smooth it out first. I also want to take a second and brush off any dust that I might see on the canes. If I don't brush off that dust now, it's going to heat and blend in with the canes and get kind of pushed into the surface. Therefore, much more difficult to remove. So first, we'll brush. Just get any loose dust off of there, anything that doesn't need to be ground off will come off. Check and see if anything needs to be ground. What I'm looking for is little white spots from that ceramic dust. Wow, that worked out really well, and I don't have anything to grind off, so that's good. Let's go back to the oven. Okay, now we're going to be heating this whole thing evenly. That's why you notice I'm fully inside the furnace with my glass. When I come out, I'm going to land it on the table. Try to be as even as I can, just a very fast, smooth rotation. I'm going to try not to let anything get folded. Take a look, see how much hotter that is now. Just going to follow through. See, with just a real even, smooth rotation, they all start to line up together. I'm actually creating kind of a cool skin on the outside that's going to continually reheat and pack down and help the canes heat up evenly together. So each time I come out of here, I'm going to do a similar technique where I'm going to marver it into a more smooth cylinder. I'll hold it up also when I come out. Just going to keep it up in the air. Allow it to want to sit back down towards the blowpipe before I start marvering. Get back to the heat. This roll-up is made of a lot of canes. I think it might have 3 or maybe 4 different kinds of cane. So it was a pretty big roll-up. I may not make just a cup. I may end up making a footed cup out of it, which I think I can do because I have so much material here to work with. If I were to make this into a single tumbler or pint glass, it would be huge. So we'll use the glass a little better and we'll make it into a goblet. KZ Ellis, hey, thank you for being here on YouTube. Appreciate having you. Thank you for the nice comment. Feel free to say hi in the chat. You can also find me over on Twitch for a full horizontal feed. But for now, thanks for being here. Yeah, as Andrew says, the 2-camera view in some shots. It's actually 5-camera view if you think about it. Good. Feel free to ask away if I can answer any questions for you. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep talking. You can see. Let's see. Oh, I need to move this. Hold on. You see I'm rolling this on the table back and forth. This table is called a marver, A-R-V-E-R. It's made for rolling or marvering the glass on. It's a way to manage the glass when it comes fresh out of the furnace and when it's very hot. As long as you're turning smoothly, you can shape it up on the table. However, that's not the only thing we can do there. We use it to cool down the glass also. So each time I do this, it's not just about shaping, it's about shaping it as it cools in the right position. I come over here to the bench, sit down and just use some tools to neck this end of the bubble down here, what will be the bubble. Maybe you can see a little better close up. See all those individual patterns going this direction are called canes. Each cane is made up of multiple smaller canes that are twisted and all that, like a braided pattern you could see. I put together a video specifically to show people how to do that. But big picture, we're just trying to make a very ornate pattern in the glass. I'm gonna end up blowing this out to be a little vase, or yeah, I guess we'll do a vase. I feel like a vase would go best with the rest of the series that I've been using these canes for. Cheers have escaped. So weird. All right, back to it. I have all my tools in hand. Yeah, Andrew, my diamond shears brand new. 2 pairs. I do have 2 really nice pairs. One of them IA. Starting to think maybe it's not only me that's in here. Save that. It's a nice little button. Put it in the oven over there. Show you what those pieces are about later. Those pieces in the oven are thick, yeah, but they're going to be, those are supios. They're going to be picked up on the end of a pipe, shaped up, gathered on, blown out, and made into much larger vessels. So that's just the beginning of the color pattern. You'll see that between 12 and 2 as I'm working with Victor. So I'm continually shaping this as carefully as I can, because if I'm not careful, I could just stay in the heat here for a long time and get this thing liquid crazy hot. But then what's going to happen is that my pattern is going to get distorted from being overheated. So I'm trying not to do that, but I am trying to distort it just enough to get into the right shape for me to blow out a nice piece. So it's a balance. I have to keep continually cooling down the tip while shaping up and keeping the top of it hot and still compressing it and blowing it out, things like that. So, thank you to my new follower. Appreciate having you. I don't know if you notice, I have a chandelier going crazy back there. That's because I got a new follower on Twitch. All right, actually, so I'm going to go ahead and hook on my blow hose. Get all tied up in this, and we'll go to the bench and start blowing it out while I shape it. Take a wet newspaper, pull it evenly while inflating. Start seeing the shoulder blowing out. Okay. Oh yeah, guess what else I did yesterday, everybody? I bought myself a new air compressor. Doesn't seem much, but man, it's the little things. So I'm going to stay in the heat for a little while, continually building up as much heat throughout the whole wall thickness as I can. Then I'm going to continually inflate it, inflate, shape. But you always have to start by shaping it up closer to the blowpipe first. Then you can work on the glass that's not attached to the pipe. So that's where you'll see me blowing out and shaping most of the glass at the beginning. Okay, yeah, I inflated the shoulder up there, and now continually soak in some heat on top of the shoulder, so that when I come out, I'm going to have a real ring of heat right here, and that tip is not going to continually be the hottest part. Every time I heat it up, that tip is going to try and be the hottest part, which means that it's going to be the softest, and it's going to react the most, it's going to blow out, or even collapse the most. And I want to get to that later. Right now I'm trying to work on this glass up here, so I need to soak in the heat for a while. See, I'm taking it slow and steady with my stretch. I don't want to draw up the glass too aggressively, because then it'll just start acting weird, thin. So I'm going to continually reheat this area, leaving all that glass cooler down there so that I can blow it out later. See how I'm defining the proportions and how it's going to be blown out. Right back to the heat and do some more. If I can answer any questions for anybody, shout them out in the chat. Andrew, you picked up a new welding cart the other day? That's cool. Okay, now I'm continually and slowly heating the bottom more than I am the top, because I don't want the shoulder to always be so hot that it's moving around, and I don't want that neck to get moved around either. So I just want to heat the bottom here. You'll see me flash every now and then to build up a slight, or not, at least not allow it to get too cold towards the bottom. But now when I come out, see, I can just let gravity do the work for me. Stretch it out a little bit. Ducks United. Hey, yeah. Oh, yeah. It'll be a vase. Thanks for asking. This is a very kind of a tight cane pattern that I'm working on. I'm trying to keep it nice and saturated so that it doesn't really stretch out too far and it shows well around the whole piece. So it's kind of a smaller piece, but it is going to be a vase. Sorry, I have a hose in my mouth at the same time here. Let me blow. There we go. I'm just lightly inflating that. These pieces are all about showing off the pattern. So nice ballooned out volume showing off the canes. Now we're going to start fine tuning it, working down towards the foot mostly. You know what though, I am going to blow it out one more time, get a little more width into the body so I don't have to try to blow that out later on the honey. Go. All right, now we got the width I want. I'll fine tune and touch up this tip down here. Superheat it a little bit first and take it for a flash. Sorry, I can't fit this whole thing in my vertical feed. all the blowout that I need to have. That's all the paddling. Piece is really done from here down. I'm going to reshape a little bit of the top here and definitely reshape the lip, but I need to break it off the blowpipe in order to do that. So I'm going to transfer this over onto a solid iron called a punty. First, I'm just going to flash this thing a little bit, keep it moving. Make sure it's not going to be too cold in any one part. Get some heat back into the top of it a little bit where the neck is. That's also important. But a very nice pattern. All right, so my first step is going to be to just hang this a little. Let it continually cool down. While I come over here and get a solid little iron. Just a tiny dot of glass on the end is all I really need. I'm going to let a lot of this even run off the punty. So you're just going to peel the glass back. Create a nice thin dome off the end of the iron. That's going to be the punty. That little bit of glass is going to act like a glue that we use to stick on the bottom of this vessel. So, flash the vessel and got it warm all the way through. Let's see that it's warm enough to keep centered. I'm just heating up my punty a little bit extra. And I'm sure you can see from back there that this punty is a much hotter attachment than what I have up here in my blowpipe. So this is a more strong and fused on attachment for now. And I'm going to re-weaken, water down this tiny little constriction here. That's going to be the spot where it wants to break. All I have to do is send a vibration. It breaks right where I want it to. And now, see, I've got it flipped over and I can reheat the lip of the piece. Just for a second, I'm going to go ahead and put my pipe away, get it out of the way. Now it's time to start working on just the lip by itself. So I don't want to reheat the whole thing. If I do, then the whole thing's going to be hot and it's all going to be moving around. What I really want to do is just soak the heat into the lip. I'm going to pull it, trim it, and get ready to add a lip wrap on it. The first step's going to be to just draw this lip out a little further. I don't want to stretch the canes too far because then I'll lose my saturation and the nice pattern that's in there. But just giving this a little drawing out, pulling it that way. It's important from the start. Now I can reheat and trim that glass down when I'm ready. So I'm flashing the whole thing, come back and soak in some more heat into the punty. Heat up and soak in some more heat into the lip so that when I come back, I can stretch it again just a little bit and then trim it down. When you're trimming, it really feels like you're cutting a piece of like frozen cardboard or something like that. It's crunchy and yet still cuttable. Very fun, weird material. Also, as you're cutting it, every second it's getting colder and colder. So each cut is a little different than the last. Okay. Keep everything real centered. Got a nice even heat throughout. Now we can add the lip wrap and then start reshaping. You remember at the very beginning of me starting my work, I went ahead and took a small punty with a little bit of glass on the end, picked up a couple chunks of this carmine red, melted it down and got it ready for using as a lip wrap. That's what I'm going to go pick up next. For now, let's just reshape this a little bit. Keep that neck nice and trim and narrow. Handle the lip flat. Just generally keep that going. We'll soak in a little extra heat to the back end here behind the attachment. If I can get this little bit of the glass glowing, then it's going to radiate through and it's going to give me a nice strong attachment underneath without having to stay in the heat forever to soak up the curls. Okay, so I just take a nice long flash. I've got the heat even throughout my piece. Now I can come over here, start heating up carmine red, which is now going to sit in the oven just like my collar did earlier. And that's going to heat up. As it heats, I'm going to keep my eye on it, make sure it doesn't slump down or anything. But I need to get the tip of it hot, and it looks like a pencil point right now. So the tip's going to heat up first. In the meantime, I'm just keeping my lip of my vase warm, keep my whole piece nice and flashed. Rotate this. Another 10 seconds. Flash this again. Maybe I'll even have a seat, take a look at this and make sure it hasn't lost its shape in the downtime here from reheating or anything. Make sure there's no wobbles running through the piece. Just by holding steady for a full, long rotation, you can make sure it's still in the right spot. Now I can see my collar, or excuse me, my lip wrap has started to heat up and move around, so I'm going to take one last little flash. Peel that clear glass back and sharpen up the pencil point. Now that's going to be what I use to wrap right around the lip. Just one last time, heat up my lip wrap, then see with the bench. Taking my time to make sure the lip wrap is truly hot enough to be moving. Ready. Okay, now I've got a nuclear hot lip wrap. We're going to go to the bench, wrap up the lip. Light little touch, stretch, then turn and lay it down on there. Now it's got a thread easily removed. Oop, there it goes. Just going to give you it back to you. There you are. All right. Okay. So we're just going to get the piece back on center gently. Okay, got the piece right back where I want it. I'm going to superheat the lip. Might even trim down any excess lip wrap color because I don't really want it to be bulky. I just want a very thin accent of red. So yeah, I think I can see that it needs to be trimmed. It's okay, it won't take long. Hey, Racing Kid, thank you for the bits, buddy. Thank you for the cheer. See my chandelier going crazy? It is doing it, I swear. You made my chandelier happy. Yeah, my picture-in-picture is just not happening lately. Okay, so I'm just continually heating the whole thing and cooling this neck. Next move is going to be to flare out the lip without hopefully adjusting the shoulder and the base of the neck too much. Yes, I do realize that when I'm torching, my mic gets all goofed up. Apologize for that, but keep you all entertained, I guess. All right, so I'm staying back and soaking in the heat just into the neck. Now you see when I come out, got a real concentrated heat. Cool the lip and then start flaring. And my goal is not to adjust the rest of the piece, just this neck. Keep that nice and tight back here. Flare it up even more. Okay, I'm getting the heat concentrated into the neck so I can flare that out. Then I'm going to build heat into the shoulder and we're going to re-blow out the body of the piece to get it a little more bulbous than it is now. First things first, let's get this lip opened up. Good. Okay. It looks like a nice piece, and it is. Except through the process of making it, it's gotten a little more wobbly and weak right out here. So I'm going to heat this specific area up a couple times through the heat and the torch. And when I come back, I'm going to blow it out and inflate the shoulder a little more, give the piece a little bit nicer curves. The problem is if the lip up here is too hot as I'm doing that, it's going to get misshapen also. So I'm going to take my time and build up the heat. I'll be back and forth. I'm heating it up in the furnace and going in to flash the whole thing and especially get heat built back into the bunsen connection. But out here, I'm trying to continue heating this, so this is under heat the whole time, and this is going to build up a nice saturated ring of heat in the shoulder. Each time I come out, just take another look at it and assess. I build more heat into this, let the rest of it cool down. I think next time I come out, I'll be ready for the blowout. In order to blow it out, I'm going to use this tool called a Soffietta. Right there. Soffietta is Italian for little wind, and it just gives me an ability to inflate the glass while it's not on a blowpipe. So once it's on this solid iron and it's not designed to be re-blown out, I can still stuff this little tool in there and get a good seal and inflate it. Okay, you see there's the heat I wanted. Cool the underside. Get ready. Ready? 1, 2, blow. That gave me a little more expansion there that I needed. Let's just try that one last time. Now we'll cool it in place. Okay. We're going to leave the shape just like that and soak in a little heat on the back end of it here. And that lip wrap is going to end up being a very bright red. I can show you a sample of it once we're done. But the thing about red is that when it's hot, you can't tell what color it's going to be. It just looks dark. So when it cools down tomorrow, I'm going to be back to the right color. But I have a sample of this red over here. You can see just by doing this, it's soaking in a little heat back here, giving the rest of the piece a chance to cool. So now when I reheat the whole thing evenly, my connection will have a nice, stable, warm attachment underneath. I'm just going to flash a couple times. I don't want to stay in there too long or it'll end up soaking up the heat and getting shifted. There we go. See that? I've got a nice glow in the back. Still got time to fine tune the shape, make sure everything is symmetric. There's no goofiness. Now we go put it away. Little water on the attachment. Hang it. Tap gently. Comes right off. Smooth out the broken edge with a flame, fire polishing. Preheat the tongs and get ready to go into the oven. It's going to be held right around 1,000 degrees. Throughout the whole day, it's going to be held there, and then overnight, it'll be cooled down very slowly. That'll stop it from breaking. If it cools down too quickly, it builds stress within the glass. There you go. So, we're good on that, I think. That's in the oven. Let me find a little sample of this nice bread to show off. If I can answer any questions, please shout them out. Casey Ellis says, it's beautiful. I'm such a klutz and I'm afraid I will just have to... Something got messed up. Either way, we're all klutzes when we start. Trust me, there's a lot of loss that goes into blowing glass. All right. So maybe this will show you the color of red. There we go. Can you catch that? Please catch that? No, well, whatever. Candy apple red. We'll see it tomorrow. Here's another sample over here. Go. There's our cane samples, colors. Now I have just a couple minutes until my student gets here, so I don't have time to make another piece. But I am going to stay online today and not kick you guys out of here while I teach. I'll be working with a one-on-one student for 2 hours, and then after that, I'll be back to working with you guys. So you're going to have to stick around and see what I got. Meantime, I need to clean up the studio. Get everything. Yeah, have a snack and hydrate. Andrew gets it. It's getting hot in here. Show some other pieces to you while we have some time here. I have not photographed these and gotten them ready to put online yet, so don't tell anybody you've seen these, all right, guys? Sneak peek, first look. Hang on, there's more. I like them when they're all together. You can see how chaotic the lines look. Oops. Here we are. Yeah, yeah. You get it. There's some kind of a nice way to arrange these that's gonna show them off best. All right, hang out with me for a little bit. I'm going to cool down for just a minute. Thank everybody again for being here. Thank you guys. We're going to get ready for my next student. Oh, I see Valencia just gave me a shout out. Thank you to 14 viewers. I appreciate that, bud. Thank you. I wish I knew how to give you a shout out. Let me start right clicking things and see what I can do. I don't even know how. Racing Kid cheered 500 bits. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I got Apple. That's what we're doing. But I'm not going to make you guys listen to that. So put the mic down real quick. Hey, while we have a second here, please go check out my new YouTube videos. I just put them out this week. I'd love to get some opinions on what everybody thinks.
paint and experimenting and seeing tubes as well.
Something up a little bit.
Now the base that you have up there that has the yellow lip wrap, how did you do that? Is that also with
Well, it's a soup deal. Here's the soup deal. I just like roasted these. Put the soup deal and twisted it.
and then with these can we do the around here? Yeah, no, I was very happy with how it turned out.
I tried to buy some Carmine bread. It was all sold out. Ferrari is.
So brought the baby in for the 2-month checkup. She gained 4 pounds. With the,
Got to hold it for the first time a few days ago. It's still so little. Like,
yeah,
I don't.
it's gonna catch up quick.
Yeah. I don't remember those like super small days where they're just a little ball of shaking jelly. Feels like a long time ago.
Do you have any plans for the upcoming months about trying to get somebody else to come in to do another assessment and all of the
No thoughts, yes. I know there's somebody who I've had here before who I'd like to get back. He's kind of, in my mind, he's kind of an upgrade from DJ. He's the guy I'm telling you to take a class from. Teaches at bigger places, but he's been here 12 months.
And if he works in pointing himself like him or
Well, he teaches those like 1 or 2 week classes every school. He lives in
how often does he practice there?
pretty much every season hours.
It's not
He teaches with his wife. It's always like a basic forms class. Low bowls, if you speak maybe low bowls for like 3 days or something. You'll finally learn how to make a low bowl properly. Yes, his color classes are good, but they're a little more slow. Like it takes, the whole day to do that one bowl.
his name is Boyd, Boyd.